Hello everybody, welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, where we program Minecraft mods live on camera. And I am pleased to announce that unlike last week, I can actually boot the game this time. So we're actually able to go in and show off what's been going on. And now I don't know how well this is going to work, because capturing this screen specifically was part of how my stream setup works. So who knows? Who knows? Also, yes, I actually straightened my hair for once. It's been like an age, but I did. So let's find out exactly how this looks. I can see something, you guys can't, which tells me probably that this window is a teensy bit warped, but not to worry, I can fix that. Yeah, I had to turn off game capture, which means, yeah, that naturally happens. Let's see, where am I looking? There. Okay, it ain't pretty, but it works. Close enough. Okay, so here we have, I just hit F1 because there's still a bug with the settlement rendering. Here we have a kobold, a nest guardian to be exact, and we have some eggies, and they are in a nest, as we can see from that, and we have a whole bunch of stuff. The drafting table has its bounding box now. It doesn't have its UI, because I'm having trouble finding anyone to reference, and nobody, as near as I can tell, has written a tutorial on it just yet, so consequently, this remains completely non-functional. But when it has a UI, it'll actually be useful, and then I can actually use it on servers and whatnot, but bleh. But yeah, so they're wandered about, they've got their noises, they do have their aggression, so if I punch them, they will retaliate, or try to, they are kobolds after all. The eggs do hatch. I don't know that I've tested if they fall just yet, so hey, why don't we just do that real quick. We'll try with the inert, because why not? Pardon me. Yep, they fall. Okay, good to know. And what else has been going on here? We have all of the pride flags. I haven't gotten item colors yet. So the bottle of moss still is just the same color bottle of moss. But we'll be changing that later on. We got blocks in here. The scale layer does show up when the egg hatches, which is all good. All of that is pretty much set to go. I mostly just need to figure out what's going on with that. The biggest thing that I have been working on this past week is the /settlement command, because it has all of those variations, and Room itself has even more. But let's start with the easiest one, list. Just show me all of the settlements that we know of. Now this has had a bit of an overhaul from its 1.12 version, because now we actually have a built-in command in these different lines. So if I click on one of these, say that one, it will actually print out the information that I would get if I'd actually just ran /settlement list 1. So if you don't happen to know like what ID number or name a specific settlement is, then you can type /settlement list, get the whole thing, and then just click on the one that you want. It's very convenient, very handy. Otherwise, everything pretty much works the exact same as it does inside of 1.12, the exceptions being that the room add command currently doesn't work without arguments, because that requires a completed blueprint item from the drafting table, and /settlement here will actually accept some coordinates as well. So if I ran that from where I'm currently standing, no settlement here. If I was to run /settlement here and give it those coordinates, so 17, 3, 16, then it will tell me that that is in fact that one. handy dandy. So you can theoretically detect the presence of a settlement at given coordinates, should you like. It's a little, makes for a nice little potential, like, trigger, I guess, with different command blocks. And I am very always fine for command block usage of these commands. Annoyingly, commands have changed a ton in the course of 1.16, so it's a little, it's probably easier for me to just show you, honestly, because it's an utter nightmare. But in ye olde days, the command was fairly straightforward. You took in, like, the world, you took in the player, you took in the array of string-like arguments, and from that you just delineated and worked everything out. Now, one thing I will say I do appreciate about this new format is that I don't have to write every single tab completion, like, meticulously identifying where it would be in, the string and just figuring it out. That said, this is me having simplified this dramatically to make this the least bit understandable of what the hell's going on. Because now, instead of just taking the whole chunk and breaking that down into what you need to do, now there is a syntactic kind of like composition, I think is the easiest way for me to describe it. So you start with that, and then you just like add on everything else, and that's then requires that you determine what like command happens at that with just those components, and then allows you to add additional or different components. Specifically, headache for me, because settlements can be referred to by both their integer value, their ID, or their custom name. So I have to have two for every single time that I want to try and reference a settlement, which is annoying, but oh well. And that then gets very complicated down here in the room one, of course, where we have to both retrieve the settlement and have the commands for every single variation of finding one. And then these, of course, have their own subs as well, so they do all that as well. And this is after I have broken this whole thing down in 1.12 and like figured out how it should be applied in 1.16. Would you all like to see what a similar command to /settlement looks like in vanilla? It's horrifying. This is the team command. Tell me, can you see where one part of it ends and another begins? Because I sure as hell can't. It's broken apart only by the point where it executes a function. That is it. It is horrifying. I could beat a man to death with this wall of text. And then compare that to even the most complex parts of the /room command, which is just like it's just that. You know exactly what like happens here. Like we identify a settlement by its index, and then we do these other commands. It's much easier. Still took some getting used to just for me to write it out, because you have to be very careful when you're writing out the variables, because if you say if you miss a circle bracket, one of those curly brackets at the end, then it treats it as an additional possible variable rather than a variable required in the thing. So for instance, in variable room add, we cannot add a room, ordinarily, well, the hand part anyways, unless we have 2 block positions. If I had missed a circle, but hey, curved bracket, like put it there, for instance, then it would count that as position A or position B and then all this other stuff. So you have to be very careful with your formatting, which is why my commands in here are broken down like this, so I can see where everything ticks in and ticks out, that kind of thing. I literally don't even know where to start here. Like, I know literals are responsible for the parts where you write an exact word to say do a thing, but I couldn't honestly tell you what values go into each of those subcommands. It is horrifying. Oof. But yeah, optional commands, optional arguments versus mandatory arguments is a thing I'm not 100% like certain of in this, but anyways. That is the settlement command, and barring the implementation of the drafting table, that means that settlements are once again fully functional and usable, and that is really good for me because I plan to chuck this onto my patron server in short order. And this actually looks fairly okay if we're not even like on the game view. So I guess I'll just leave this, I'll just leave us on this window for most of this stream, I guess. But anyways, you've seen the kobolds. They can carry out, they can like display equipment now. They don't have their like battle shorts kobold armor model yet, but that is a thing that they'll be fixing in. They can, you can see them like holding torches and swords and stuff for that, which is fine. But yeah, as I say, pretty much my entire past week has been working on the settlement command. So today, we're gonna do something that is as amusing as it is silly. And I'm gonna start by just summoning a fox. Hi there, buddy. How are you doing? Now, let's see, data, modify, entity, @e type equals fox, limit equals 1, 2, and we want no AI. Set, but this is such a hassle. Now, like, you've seen me type entity data a billion different times, and yet they've somehow managed to make this worse. Okay, where did they get to? There they got to. Alright. Do-do-do. Thank you. Okay, there we are. A little test fox. And let's just take you to a little bit higher so we can get a really nice good look at you. Okay. So, you may know that in Minecraft during, I think it's Halloween specifically, it might be October specifically, skeletons will appear with pumpkins on their heads, and during the Christmas period, specifically, chests will have a nice Christmas present-y kind of texture. That's very cute. I thought that, being that I'm heavily associated with foxes, for no possible reason, that we could maybe stick a little Easter eggy kind of thing into various oddities that just modifies what foxes look like during the winter period. So, our goal today is to give them some winter accessories, namely hats, boots, and scarves. Little booties is probably gonna be the first bit I add because that's just adorable. Ideally, in a variety of textures and whatnot. So there's a few steps for us to do this. The first thing we need to do is we need to get their renderer so that we can add a layer to it, a render layer to it, which is not unlike your armor. Your armor is a layer on top of everything else. Any skull that you happen to have in your helmet slot is also its own layer inside of your renderer. Your renderer is basically just your basic model and not much else. Then onto that we need to add a new layer that has a fox model and probably scale it up slightly, just so that we don't have them like directly Z-fighting and whatnot. And then we have to make our own custom model with our own custom, presumably drawn from the UUID texture. So, let's get to it, shall we? Step 1, get the renderer. Now, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that we can grab that inside of our entity registry here. This is called, let's see, where are you? In client setup. So it should be the point where all of the renderers are already locked. So the next thing that we need is to actually get our Minecraft instance and retrieve the portion, the function here that is used to actually get which one goes to where. Do you like? Thank you very much. So let's see, we've got game renderer, world renderer, item render manager, entity render manager. Okay. Get renderer for a type of for an entity. That's interesting. We would expect it to be like a type of entity, which we probably can get from there, judging by that map. Entity type to entity renderer. Okay. So let's see, entity types. Nope, entity type dot fox. There you are. What is your problem? Caliber resolved. No worries. Fix you up. Alright, that should get us a fox renderer. Namely, that. From there, we just need to append our thing. So, can we in fact actually append? That's the next question. Because if we look in the fox renderer, we have this.add layer. If that is a private variable, this is impossible. It's public final. Okay, that's good. So if we just cast to a living renderer, we should be able to do it. Hey Lying, yell at Dusty, they are rickrolling me on repeat. Dusty, at least get a fresh meat. Has it render or renderer? Because it flips flops a bunch between those. Let's see, extends mob renderer. That value happens inside of living renderer. Aha, right. We need an entity and a model. That's irritating. Let's see, entity type dot fox again, and model fox. Let me check Kobold renderer. All of the code in various oddities, by the way, 100% is the correct formatting in names. Everything else is just like, terrible. Awful. What is left hand of an assignment must be a variable. I could have sworn that's what I was doing. There you go. Oh, Fox model. Or you know what else? I could probably just do bleh. Nope. I figured it wouldn't be that easy. Yep. Pixel. Behave thyself, please. Okay. Now we should be able to add a render layer. Yes, okay. Good start, good start. So now we need to create a custom render layer and see if this turns out at all. What's your problem there? Oh, right, because you need to be... Oh boy. Okay, that's the ticket. It's just so much more convoluted. I don't know why they did this. I'm sure there's some highfalutin hired by Microsoft kind of like reasoning for why they do this, but it is hideously unintuitive, especially compared to 112. Just bleh. Okay. Anyways, so we need a layer. So let's create ourselves layer fox accessories. Is this still iLayer? Nope, it is not. Okay. Layer renderer. It's now a base class. Okay. Let's see, fox entity and a fox model. Fox entity. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. What else are you missing? Just the render. Okay. It's fine by me. Okay. Now here's a question for chat. Can you think of a layer renderer that that renders a new model. There's a few that will render blocks. For instance, the back of a mushroom is blocks. The Wyver's kind of like armor plating whenever it goes below half health is a special thing as well. Although I think that's actually built into the Wyver. No, River Aura layer is its own thing. Okay, let's check that. And it does have a resource location, and it does have a model. Okay, so slightly terrifyingly, this layer is going to look a lot like how the Wyver renders. it's probably fine. I'm sure. Ultimate boss fox. I mean, that's probably gonna happen at some point. I already planned for like a really gorgeous like giant fox that you can ride as a mount. Like that's a thing that kind of has to happen at some stage. Okay, so yes, here's all of the code that goes into making the glowing, swirly kind of like Wyver piece. So let's just grab that for the moment. Go over to our fox accessory layer. Clean up this code a bunch, because it is hideously inset for whatever reason. And obviously right now, doesn't work, but we'll be fixing it. So let's see. Entity model, in our case, is fox entity. Good. And we'll be changing, instead of having is charged, obviously, we'll be using the calendar to figure that out. Energy swirl, I don't think that vertex builder is necessary. But I also don't see one coming in. So is there anything else that does this that we can think of? Armor glint? No, that's not quite. I think just solid would suffice, really. Okay, and we're gonna want a model. Fox model perchance have to take an input? No, it doesn't. Okay, so I can't just give it a value and it'll scale. Fine. Okay. Given that it is winter already, we can presume that it's going to pretty much just be true regardless here. So let's plug that in. F, I'm guessing, plays into the positioning of the texture. Yep, right there. That's part of the, that's just part of the rendering. That's fine. Don't need to worry about that. Next question. The texture, because this is not going to render with a texture currently. So let's see. There's this texture right here. There's that function right there. Where does that get called? Ubervidrum, but it has cute little fox ears. Who knows? Maybe that's a different thing I'll eventually add. Okay. So it gives that texture to the swirl part. I see. Location, UNVN. Gotcha. And that's the part that it modifies with the ticks existed. Okay. Wearable fox ears when? Maybe it'll just be an entire fox update, who knows? I already have pride flags. Like craftable pride flags, no less. Let's see, where is there a means by which I can give it a texture? Doesn't seem like it. In which case, we probably need to just bind the texture. Okay. In which case, with a renderer, there's your wither textures. Where and how, or rather, how does that get applied? Entity model get render type. Okay, that's a little bit more straightforward. So if we go to, let's see, get render type, and this would be our accessories texture, which right now doesn't exist, but that's fine. Okay. What is your problem here? Can render take... No, it has to be a vertex. That's interesting. Surely that... No, they are not by writ vertex. Huh, okay. That's odd then that it was just taking it as just fine. So how do we get this to work properly? When can we cosplay the witch? I mean, there's plenty. You can now with a simple skin change. I mean, at least as of the return, there is actually like a specific model of accessories that go onto the witch. Though contrary to popular depictions, the witch doesn't actually have a foxtail. Well, let's try that. See what it does. My guess, explode, but that's what we come here for, right? So if this works, what we should see is probably a black and purple Z-fighting model of the fox over the existing fox. If it works. Which, again, doubtful. Okay. Well, it hasn't crashed yet. Let's find out. We'll boot up. We'll see, like, a fox for a split second. Okay. Nothing has crashed, and there's not a massive error coming out down here, so that's something. But we don't see anything. Not even, like, a missing texture alert in here. By the way, this log is ridiculous. It is, in fact, so long that it overflows Eclipse's logging. So, I cannot see even half of what gets put into this console anymore. Very annoying, that. Did we actually tell it to be added? There's the question. I don't think I did. No. That's why we can't see anything yet. That's why it hasn't put out any bugs, is because it hasn't actually been generated. Okay. Fox, render, add layer, new layer, fox accessories, fox renderer. Okay, good. Don't need to worry about that. There. If it works, it works. Right. How about now? In theory, if it's going to break, it will probably break at the time that we log in rather than during load up. Because if there's an error to be had, it will be when we actually try to render this. But they could have a foxtail. They are a low-grade shapeshifter, so absolutely yes. They're very, malleable. Show me the fox. Show me the fox. Instant problem. Yep. Okay. Squeeze witch like a stress ball. I mean, yeah, they've got slime, enderman, and squid DNA, so yes. Okay, it did try to go to that. Good. Which means that it did actually acknowledge that that layer was added. We did manage to do that at the same time. Render type cannot be cast. Render type cannot be cast to vertex builder. That's interesting. Okay, well we know the problem's not there. So it's somewhere in here, and obviously we know what it is here. So is there a thing in here that gets us a vertex builder?
Don't be afraid to borrow. Chord progressions.
I don't need to hear about lending, thank you very much. I don't see a vertex buffer in here, or vertex builder rather. See, that's the render type that was in here before that was vertex builder, and that was fine. I'm going to presume that we can get away with using entity cutout. Oh, get entity sold, right there. Okay, right, that probably helps us a fair bit. Okay, what's your problem? Can't convert to builder. Okay. The energy layer. Buffer in dot get buffer, that's what I'm missing. Okay, that should work. Emphasis on should. Squeezes which squeaky toy nose. I need to get that as like a soundbite or something at some point, because I cannot do that proper like squeaky toy squeak. But it is a like a sound effect that can go into basically any like production. It's wonderful. Why do I need it? Because there's no occasion there's not improved by the like random usage of a squeaky toy noise. Hey! Very good. Okay, and if I sneak in here, yep, we still have the actual fox texture, so it's just being like actually overridden by the texture we got going on here. Good, okay. So, next step, make a model. Models have changed not as much as one might suspect looking at them, thankfully. So, we can go into here, entity, model, fox accessories. And we do want to say extends ageable model, because we want this to be fully compatible with the foxes themselves. What we could also do is just override the Fox model. Which will probably do just as well. Because then we just need to change whatever goes on in here. Okay. Please tell. Oh, they're private. Of course they're private. Why wouldn't they be private? Ay. That's annoying as hell. That means I can't even reference them. So, I do actually need to steal the entire damn thing. What's that value even used for? What are their legs, apparently? Oh, that's for when they're wiggling in the ground. Oh. From when they dive into snow and stuff. Oh. Okay, well. Mojang, you drive me to crimes. Okay. Back to ageable model we go. Because it is terrifying. There's a very, very, very long-standing kind of like disagreement. I call it a disagreement. It is pretty much just like a straight up like... You know how fandoms will sometimes argue about the proper interpretation of the canon? That's pretty much what it's like in programming when you describe whether someone should use tabs, which is that, or whether they should use spaces, like that. And it is, it gets heated sometimes. Like, criminy. Okay, well we've identified what that is. That's, like, leg wiggling. There. Which is gonna look really cute with booties on the back feet, I have to say. Gonna look so cute. Okay. So here's the chunk that we're actually interested in. This is where the model actually gets generated. Where does the animations end? Right there, okay. This is part of why I didn't want to just copy the code entirely, but unfortunately somebody made all of the variables private. So if I wanted to make sure that it lines up with the original model, I have to use the exact same code. It's just unfortunate that they brought me to this. That's literally one line, that does not need brackets. Not even going to be changing any part of this code. Just tidying it up so I can actually see what it's doing. Okay. Let's change that in these lines, put that value to actual use. I can only presume that that was a debug value when they were building this code. I'm going to presume that that is the magnitude of the wiggle. So like how far forwards and back they go. Okay, and there's another value up here, which is... Let's see, that looks like scaling. Interesting. Now we're going to be changing up... We're going to be making a whole model, so not all of this needs to be as exact, but just looking it over. But yeah, 0.00f. Yeah, that's rescale. Okay. Well, you can actually borrow that pretty much straight up here, because if we just add a 0.5 to that, then it already does what we're going to need the legs to do. Okay, I don't think we're gonna add any like accessories to the tail. At the very least, I can't think of very many. I'm sure somebody can, but the more different kinds of accessory that we add, then the more texturing I have to do, and the more variables I have to run to try and figure out which parts should be visible, that sort of thing. So we're just gonna remove tail, which is fine. This is not the fox model. This is the fox accessories. This is the outfit, not the body. We're not amputating the poor fox's tail. Dear Lord, no. Okay, let's just delineate that a little bit. Okay. Now where is the tail listed? It is not listed in the rendering, thankfully, so that's helpful. And that's one line now, so it doesn't need that either. Okay. That should already give us a slightly changed view of the fox, so let's have a look. And I will take my first break of the evening. So it will still be textureless. More or less what you can expect to see is a black and purple fox with a standard orange and white tail and fairly beefy legs. If this is working as intended right now, that's what we'll see when we log in. Unlike making a mob from scratch, this does not involve a whole ton of like trial and error and animation steps and whatnot. And yeah, that looks to be about what we've got. Let's head into Spectator. We should see a gap here. Not, are we? Okay, that's interesting. Oh, because we did not change what the model is actually pointing at, which is why we can still see the black and purple tail. The accessories layer is still pointing at the original actual model. So in our case, we want model fox accessories. There we go. So now we should see the beefy boy. Assuming I haven't hacked something up and this crashes in 5 seconds. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, then we got the beefy legs. We got the orange and white tail, which is what we expected, and if we poke our heads into here, we should be able to see a distinct boundary line between the feet and... yeah, if I can just slow down far enough. There we are. Okay. That's what we want to see. We want to be seeing this gap. Because that means when we turn this into a boots texture, that it won't conflict with the existing legs. First thing you hear when you open stream, beefy boy. Yeah. We are making a fresh model for foxes so that they have nice little winter outfits and such. Ironically, because of the way that mob and like fox entities are done, this should also affect Arctic foxes. So Arctic foxes during the winter will be especially warm and cozy, I guess, despite the fact that they're from the Arctic. But, okay. Next step. We break out Technique. as I say, most of models in 116 are largely the same as they are in 112. Just a couple of things have changed how they're laid out. There's making ageable mobs that like start tiny and then grow up and have big heads when they're smaller. That's a lot easier now. You just have to extend out of ageable model. So fairly straightforward. To that end, actually, let's just see if this holds true. So we want data get entity that, and data modify entity also that. We want to say age set value. It's negative for children. Where is age in here? I'm presuming it's 0 currently. Yes. Let's say negative 1,000. Very good. Also works. I figured it would, but you know, it's worth checking. Honestly, like, I'm just like putting my thumb over the tail here, and this looks like a really cute mob just by the start of it. Like, I'm not gonna remove the fox's tail, but that looks really cute, like a tiny little bear or something. Teddy bear coming to munch the ankles or something. Okay, let's put you back. There you go. Congratulations on your second puberty? I don't know. Okay. So let's see, the model is 48 by 32. We'll keep it at 6432 currently. And now I basically just have to take these values and reconstruct them to give us a look at our fox. So let's see, start with the head, which is at 1 and 5 for whatever reason. And that is offset -3, -2, -5, and it is an 866 in scaling. I was gonna take my break, wasn't I? Okay, I'll be back in like 10 minutes, everybody. See you then. Back, everybody. So just before we left off, we have managed to add a custom model to a custom render layer to the Fox vanilla renderer, and we have just now finished off reconstituting the Fox model that we are interested in, or at least the parts of it that we're interested in, there's no tail here, into Techne. Now, interestingly enough, generally speaking, when you're creating a texture file for a game, you try to make sure that it is as small as possible, because it means there's less memory that needs to be used to load it up, and when you have a lot of textures in a game, that can add up quite a bit. That up there is how the vanilla Fox texture, according to its model file, is actually organized, which is very odd, because they're usually much more densely packed than that. But I'm actually going to see if I can pull it up. My Streamfox doesn't seem happy. Oh, yeah. Pixel is having an interesting night. I don't know what's on. Okay, let's just have a look-see at the texture for Foxes, because I'm curious if that is the actual layout. Okay, so there's the tail, which we don't actually have in our current version. It also has sleeping texture. Very cute. We all have those days? Yeah. Okay, so that is, in fact, how it is laid out. I don't know why it's laid out more like papercraft, I think, is like the only way I can describe that. That's very strange. We, however, do not have to like hold ourselves to such strange standards, so we can move these around as much as we like. But that is leg front left, I believe. Yes. Just make sure we have a name for that. Let's add a folder. Now the legs can stay perfectly as they are, except that we'll probably move them around in our texture file. Let's just rename that to Foxbase. And let's... Technique is a bit dilapidated, but it nonetheless works. I will note that you can tell from that texture to this model, this has actually been rotated 90 degrees. That happens on the model level, so that is one way that I have done, in fact, myself, to save space in the textures, by changing a long cuboid to be vertical, because it uses less space that way. But, okay, so we know the legs are fine, we're going to keep those as they are. Oddly enough, actually, another interesting thing I noticed whilst I was doing this is that all of these have the same exact orientation relative to their rotation points, and it's all just off to the right for whatever reason. None of these are actually in there, which is okay if your leg never needs to go like left or right. As long as it goes like, as long as you're only rotating on the pitch, that's fine. It's just strange. Generally speaking, you put the rotation point inside of the cuboid that's rotating, but... I don't know. Okay. So, on our list of things that we want the Foxes to have... number one, I feel, is boots. That's straightforward, very easy to do. The number 2, I think, is scarves. And then number 3, I think, is hats. So... in order of priority, there we go. And ideally, we want to mix and match these. We want to have them like have different. We want to have them to have like multiple textures, so they're not just all like every single fox is now wearing a Santa hat. Like, no offense to skeletons, but we can do better than that. So let's see. We can do a scarf really simply, or we can be a bit more creative with it. I tend towards creativity, so we'll do that. So let's see, let's rotate that 90, just so that we have it at the right scaling, and then that is a 611.6, okay. Okay, that wants to be the 1, and that wants to be the 6. Okay. Skeletons take full offense. I mean, yeah. Okay, 16 and -6. And it is -3 and -3.5. So where exactly is the center of, or like, is that seriously in their head? There we go. Okay. So we'll have the first part of our scarf to be around there. We'll use scaling of the cuboid to make it look like larger, so it's not just perfectly lined with the body. I'm trying to think. Would save more space probably by just having this be a 6x6x1. Yeah. And then not rotating it at all, but that would end up with that wouldn't be the same shape. So we would need to orient that by -90 in the actual model if we wanted to do it that way. It'll be a headache, but if we did that, I'll leave that for when we actually get to the stage of doing this. There. Okay. What I want to do is have like the part around the neck, and then a piece that like the sort of like tail that you always see like hanging off, usually on like the right hand side for whatever reason, or like near the middle maybe, sort of like where a bell would be on a collar. In which case we need a second one, so we'll call this scarf 1. And we need scarf 2. Let's see, 16 and -6 for the rotation point. +4 puts us actually close to being in the right place. Rotate 90 degrees. Okay. Now this one I want to just make flat. And let's have this be 2 pixels wide. And 4 pixels tall, I think. I think that should do. Let's put that inside of that as well, okay. And move it down. Okay. So let's cloak something like that into the model and see what we get. So it's attached to our body, which we will just take that part off. That means there's no longer any actual body model there at all. Unrealistic standards, I know, but still. Okay. So because both of these share the exact rotation, we don't need to add these as a child renderer. So let's see, this body add box. This would be -1, 4.5, -7, 204. So that is the second piece. The first piece is -3, 4, -3.5, and 616, and then 0.5f. Okay, let us see what that looks like on our fox. I'm also going to take out all the pieces that we haven't personally added. We will leave the legs, because we've established those are good as is. Okay. These legs are probably a bit too tall. We probably are not going to be making booties the entire absolute height of their legs. That might be a different mod. Damn these Minecraft foxes and their unrealistic body standards. I mean, I am unhealthily thin and all I had to do was lose an organ. Which for some reason is coming up a lot lately. I don't know why. Thigh highs for foxes. I mean, is it a thigh high if it literally goes like to the point where your legs start? I don't know why the story of me like losing an organ is coming up a bunch lately. And I think there's just been weird occasions where I've been able to mention how much weight I've been like gaining recently. Okay. Kind of feel like the legs might be interfering a little bit. We can change that by just altering the like expansion here from 0.5 to say 0.25 or 0.3 even. I feel like 0.3 should do it. But okay, we can see where the tassel, I don't know what to call it, is right there. Be willing to guess it's from people wondering why you have a difficult time getting any weight. Fair. This is already looking adorable, by the way. Like, look at that. Does that not already look very cute? We haven't even gotten to the point of adding a hat yet. Okay, right. Well, let's stick in our slight rescale. And I think to avoid the sort of like tassel or whatever, the leading edge of the scarf or whatever you want to call it, from like interfering there, we should move this forwards a bit. Which is that one? Yes. Okay. Let's do that to 4. 4 should be fine. Maybe 4.1, but. Just to make sure it doesn't interfere with the head even. Okay. It shouldn't interfere with the legs, but nonetheless I'm going to turn the legs off just for the time being so that we can actually see things a bit clearer. Does the fox have a name? This one, not currently. This fox is not a Gilgamesh for sure. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Fox with a scarf, everybody. I love this fox and his little scarf so much. Yeah. Okay, hang on. We can do this with, just, like, entity data, but heck no, that doesn't work so well now. There we go. The fox is now named. Meet little Sebastian. Okay, get those legs back. So, next stop, adding a hat. Now, what kind of hat do we want to do? We could, it is not impossible to add, like, multiple hats for them so that they can have, like, different textured, different hats. But the more hats that we add, the more difficult it becomes to actually, like, switch through the textures and everything, and it just eats up a whole ton of time. So, yeah. People who can use Blockbencher Wizards. This is a much, much older system called Techni, which I don't even at this point actually use for for generating the code. I just use it as like a visual guide of what I'm working with. But yeah, top left, Techni. It is extremely outdated, it is extremely old, and it used to output entire classes that you could use, but it has no concept of parenting, and that part is broken anyways. So I just use it as like reference for what I need to, for what values I need to stick in the code to get the desired result. But okay, let's do a search here for winter hat. And of course, the first thing that comes up is a whole ton of beanies, which I feel like we could probably manage. Yeah, Neff. Don't get me started on the horrors of, like, no parenting in models, because I will bring up Minecraft horses again, which are somehow even more terrifying than actual real-life horse anatomy. Beanie with pom-pom ears? Oh, this one? That's an idea. Like, let's see. Just see what I can throw together here. So let's see, that is 8 by 6. And its position is -1, so it's my 5.3. Okay, so if we wanted to do something like that, we would probably overlay a piece here, scale it up a little bit, and then actually put, like, similarly scaled up pieces for the ears that are just the pom-poms and such. Should we hazard the question of what parenting in models is? Okay, look at the fox's head here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 different model renderers, or cubes, essentially. Model render in Minecraft is basically a cube. It can be more, but it's frequently just the one. Here, add child. That is a parent, which means that the rotation of the head object will affect the rotation of the right ear, left ear, and snout. And when the head object is rendered, all the other child's objects are rendered. That's called parenting. And it saves you a lot of suffering and time when you're animating things and when you're, like, rendering things, if you only have, like, a handful of objects that are actually, like, meaningful and everything else is just attached, parented to those. The reason that I frequently bring up Minecraft horses when discussing parenting in models is because horses have, like, 12 or 16 different cubes to them, and at least earlier, in earlier versions, not a single damn one of them was parented. So every single one had to be animated, every single frame. It was horrific. Neff, did you not know that story? I think it's changed now because they have a different horse model. Yeah, they have actually started parenting inside the horse models. This is still a nightmare to look at, but nonetheless, it's a lot better than it used to be. In 1.12, it is horrific. It's drawn directly from Dr. Zark's Animals mod, and it is terrible. But I digress. So yeah, if we wanted to do a, like, pom-pom hat, we could. I'm more partial to, like, sort of, I guess, like a beanie with, like, a little pom-pom at the top, like one pom-pom. Maybe just on, like, one side over here. We can parent that to the head quite easily. We also definitely don't need the snout in this, so that's fine. Yeah, we can get rid of those entirely. So the head, the body, and the legs. That's the main thing for our accessories here. You came in to talk of terrible horses. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Neff, I'm happy that you, I'm happy that Neff and Zeno understand exactly why that was horrific. Welcome to We Yell About the Minecraft Horse Model again. Yeah, let me reset the counter. It has been 0 days since Lang yelled about the horrible Minecraft horse model. Fun fact, horses run on their fingers. Because their hooves are a single finger elongated massively. Is it any wonder why they basically just have to be put out of their misery entirely when they break? It's like, horses aren't built to last, they're built to get away very quickly. if you're talking about anything somewhat programming related and you hear no parenting, you're gonna get concerned very fast. Fair. Very fair. Okay. I wonder if I can cheat the system here by literally just searching Minecraft Fox hat. Or will that just result in a bunch of pictures of... Yeah, that's more or less what I expected to see. That's weird, and way over-modeled for Minecraft. I'm looking for pictures of something like this, essentially. I'm looking for a Minecraft Fox like that, with a hat there. And I feel the image in my brain is far too specific for me to not have seen such a thing already. But nonetheless, I'm not seeing it. I don't know why there are two different results that are Minecraft Fox thigh highs, but that's not even remotely related to a hat, so we're just gonna keep on scrolling. Could try Minecraft hats. Oh, and then there's this weird person who is a Minecraft's embedded Fox-oriented creator who codes, but isn't me. I feel like I should sue. This is also going to be very... yeah, I figured. Skin... Christmas... build... No, I think I'm gonna have... Okay, there's the hat mod. I forgot the hat mod existed, actually. That might be a good place to reference. Because it's hard to put, like, a lot of things onto what is basically a cube. So, yeah. Some of the hats in this are just really weird. Is there a Santa hat in that mod? Aha! Okay. There we go. That's added by Optifine, but that is very similar to what I'm thinking of. I think I am gonna have to wing this just a little bit at the very least. This is terrifying. Not gonna worry about that. Okay, let's bring this down in size a bit. Maybe 4x4. Nah, let's keep it at 5x5. Okay. Let's move it around a bit. I kind of like the idea of it being off kilter. It's like this fox isn't really even wearing their hat properly, it's just there. You did see what appeared to be an exquisitely terrifying portrait of Daniel Radcliffe. Oh no, that's just a famous, like, meme photograph of Daniel Radcliffe. Like, that's not even that strange, honestly. Okay. Just gonna copy that. Let's see, that is 16.5 -3. Good, I got that part right. And that is -3.5. Okay, that should get me centered. Good. Let's bring this to about, let's see, 2.5? Yep. And free. Okay, so that is the beginnings of a hat. Looks a bit like a shell right now, but yeah. Let me play Jeopardy here. I have no idea what he's modeling, but if I had to guess, it's a dog wearing a tiny beret. An artist dog. An entertaining idea. We are designing some winter accessories for foxes in Minecraft. This is a custom model that is overlaid onto the vanilla fox model between like late December and like mid-March. Okay, let's tilt this back a bit. Give it some depth. And do we want to add another block to it? Do you want another cube on this? Let's go with what we got for the moment. Let's put that into the code. Okay, nope, that has the exact same rotation point as the head, so just... As does the other piece, it just has a different rotation. We're not fussed about the texture coordinates right now because we don't have a texture, so it's kind of a moot point. In theory, I can just plug this onto one actually, because it's got the same rotation point, it's got the same Z-axis rotation, so if the only one I need to care about is that saves me a bit of time. Remember, you want to try and reduce your structure to as few pieces as possible, so if your entire hat can be based on one object, then great. You can then just change that one object and the entire hat moves with it. Okay, so negative 2.5, negative 4.3, negative 3, 4, 2, 4. Okay. Let's find out what this looks like now. So we've got the scarf on, we've got the booties on, and now we have the makings of a hat, hopefully. Yeah, the idea is that much like when skeletons switch to having pumpkin heads for Halloween, that during the winter period, the foxes will get this little detailing. Even if it somehow strangely also applies to Arctic foxes. I'm not going like Yogg-Dwarf's level of detail on the model here, but multiple textures should be easy enough. And I don't know just yet if all foxes will have all of them, so some might only have a hat, some might have the booties, that kind of thing, some might have all three. Okay, it's a little hard to tell with the base texture there, but yeah, we're getting there. I'm not 100% sold. Arctic foxes didn't want to be left out. I guess maybe. I guess if you're from the Arctic, maybe winter is especially cold for some reason. Who knows? Okay, I think we do want to have like a bauble or a tassel or something on the back of this, but that's a good start. Let's let Sebastian down and see how he moves around. Again, they've butchered the entity data command here. Oy. There he go. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good. Arctic fox Santa hat baubles glow because of the long winter nights. I mean, if I was gonna go ham on the modeling for this, I guess one option for a hat could in fact be like reindeer ears. Reindeer don't even exist in Minecraft. At least not yet. Looks like he's wearing a dapper bowler hat currently. Yeah. Agreed there. I think at least one more shape, I think, should resolve the whole thing. How do I want to do this? That's actually not too bad so far. Haven't rotated it yet, but not too bad. Make that a bit deeper, or we can just scale it up later. Like, we just add that one little bit. I think we do want to rotate it to the -6. We can then even rotate it a little bits on the yaw. Just to make it flop to one side, kind of like that. Maybe increase that rotation. Dip it down a little bit. I'm being extremely fiddly here. I feel like a good model should look fine, should look like pretty good, even textureless. Yeah, can you imagine that, which is like white there, red for most of that, and then white at the end of that? Like, what do we think? Hmm? I feel like one caveat I should make is that it probably shouldn't actually be a Santa hat, because that ties this feature to like one belief system, one winter holiday, when this effect is meant to be visible throughout the entirety of winter. Or, I don't know, maybe I just make a texture that makes it a Jewish, like, winter hat of some description as well, and all the manner of other things, but it's my best to try and keep it relatively agnostic. I can make it blue instead of red, you're not wrong. Yeah, blue is my favorite color. I am always happy to make things blue. Like Box Fox's hat? This Box Fox hat? Because Box Fox doesn't have a hat. This, in fact, is a proprietary character that is not mine called Stupid Fox, who is wearing, like, an Easter egg hat. But it works really well with them, so... Mixing up the foxes? I mean, I have plenty. I have so many. Okay, let's stick with that. Let's plug that in the model. This is differently rotated to hat 2, so we need a hat 3. Dang it. Let me enter the damn colon. Thank you very much. Or the damn comma, to be exact. 1, 3, and I'm gonna give that a 0.2 as well, just so it's a bit bigger. So it's a little small on the model. I'm gonna make it. I'm going to enlarge. I'm gonna zoom and enhance it. Okay. So later, when we're going into set rotation angles, what we will do is we will take the entity in, we will use that to grab a randomizer specific to that entity, not unlike how the kobolds will have random bright flags specific to them. And we will try to generate it so that at least one of these accessories is visible. And then that same fox will wear the exact same one every year. But okay, so that is... Oh, I did not put in the Y, did I? So it's not rotated in that angle. I feel that might be overkill, that might just be me overcomplicating things, but what else is new? Okay. Run it. I wonder how expensive it would be to randomly hue shift the hat or something. So like sheepwool? Not very. The question being, would it be exclusive to the hat, like the entirety of the hat, or a specific part of the hat, or would the same hue shift be applied to all of the components? How like specific you get with it would affect like whether or not we have the one model or multiple models or multiple textures, either way, that kind of thing. But yeah, sheep already hue shift. Sheep can even have like active shifting of their hue if you name them Jeb, so like that's not dreadfully complicated. Not impossible. Okay, so there's Sebastian's hat. Yeah, looking nice, looking very cute. I don't know how much that little tassel in the middle is going to be visible. Like, I've had to teleport him up a block and shift to be able to see it, but it's there all the same. Oh, is that text? No, that's texture. Okay. I was about to wonder, is that actually detached from the thing? But no, it's fine. Okay, yeah. Little fox hat, nice. Even Jeremy Bentham over there approves. Which, by the way, yes, is actually the name of this kobold. I come up with very strange names for test mobs, okay? This fox is named Sebastian. The kobold being named Jeremy Bentham is not much stranger. Since we talked about witch making a squeaky noise earlier, every time Sebastian squeaks you picture the witch doing it. I mean, the witch in Various Oddities as an archfey does have a fox disguise. That is the vanilla Minecraft fox disguise. So, in theory... Okay. Next step, texturing. So we've got all of the different pieces, so now the step is to organize them in here. Start by removing all of these body pieces that we no longer need in here. So that right there is all of the pieces specific to our accessories. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So let's see. The largest piece is that. Let's put the hat under that. And there's the scarf. That bit there is already scarf. Let's just do that. And then it looks like it's trailing off, but it's fine, because of how Minecraft actually handles this stuff. Okay. Very good. We can probably cut this down quite a bit. Jeez. Very small texture. Picture the witch making that noise during a fight. I happen, unfortunately, to know what the Minecraft foxes sound like when you hurt them. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Believe I can still export a texture map. A lot of different parts of Techni have broken over the years. Yes, I can. Okay, good. Just need to drop this into the right folder. Textures, entity, and what are we calling this? Fox accessories. Okay. So if I refresh down here, we should see it pop in. Yep, there we are. And now we just need to actually give the model the updated locations of all of these textures. Now, legs haven't moved at all, so they're fine. Big scarf bit, which is that. Is at 0, 0. Do I have to give it texture coordinates, or can I just do that? Yes, I can, thank God. When every single box has a different texture, like location, that would be kind of a pain otherwise. Do not be afraid when you see a -4 in a texture offset. It's fine. Okay, scarf component 1 is at 0 and 7. Scarf? No, hat. Hat component 1 is at 7. That is at 13. And the teeny tiniest bits, it's actually quite a bit bigger than that, but this is at 19. Okay. That should now mean that we have... oh, and the texture width is different in the Techni file to what it is there. Its width is 64. So let's just change that. Okay. So that's there. It's referenced in Fox Accessories right there. Let me check the Kobold renderer just to make sure I've gotten the directory correct. Textures, entity... yeah, okay, good. Right. This will not be good textures, but it'll be textures, so let's see. Okay, there we go. That's a good start. So now we have a slightly better idea of how this looks. Hey, Dev. Welcome to Lying puts cute outfits onto foxes. This is a completely vanilla fox. The parts that are like that are actually being added by me. Okay. Now we have to add some texture to that. So let's see, let's open up Glimpse. Let's find the texture. There we are, that's the folder I'm looking for. Also, yes, my desktop is in fact a image from my own patron server way back when. Stream is tangentially related to The Witch, so we ran with it. I mean, how often do you guys actually discuss anything related to what I'm actually doing? Nope, stop that. Thank you. Okay, let's rescale this. Canvas size, there you are. Yep, 32 by 32 should be fine. The smaller the texture file, the cheaper it is to load. Remember that. I can probably move some of this around, but it's kind of fine where it is. Okay, so there's 32 by 32. When we export this, that'll mess up the model, so we need to remember to tell it that. Right to there. Okay, right. So this level we will have be white. These are not going to be magnificent textures, just off the bat here. Probably add some noise to them later, just so it looks a little nicer. This is the middle. Wait, no, that's the scarf point. My mistake. That's the bottom of the hat. Well, everything needs texturing anyways, so it's not that big of a problem. Just make sure I can get some initial demo of this. Okay, right. Let's go with a green and red, maybe? Kind of, scarf color. Okay, that should be fine. Like that. Just trying to do this real quick before my next break comes up. And then we want to have that be at the tippy tip of that, which I think is that end. I think. And what do we want the body of this hat to be colored? Let's go with sky blue for the time being. Okay, let's remove the top couple of pixels on the booties. Give them a nice deep red look, I think. A bit darker than that. And I am in fact already running over time on my next break. Oh well. Okay, that should be the front. Okay, export, let's have a look and I'll go on my break. The great part of doing texturing is that you don't actually need to reboot the game every single time you do it, it's just, unless you like change that part. How does it feel to be the creator of a character that lives in everyone's minds rent-free? I wish it paid royalties. And I wouldn't have a donation goal for my meds. Can I remember what buttons reload the textures for some reason? It is F3 and T. Oop, and there is some kind of problem here, because we've still got texture there that we shouldn't have. But we got a little hat, and we got we got a very cute looking, like, scarf as well. Okay, the booties need a little work, but that's fine. Okay, back in like 10 minutes, everybody. See you then. Welcome back, everybody, to the final hour of our stream tonight, and I have just swiftly put together the code responsible for actually activating these features. So, if you're wondering when you can see the foxes being all fancy-like and whatnot, it is from the 21st of December to the 20th of March. That is officially the winter period, at least as far as these foxes are concerned. Obviously, it'll be a bit chilly quite a bit before that, especially depending on where you are in the world. But in Minecraft, nobody cares, so it's fine. It is October. It is Halloween everywhere in Minecraft land. It might as well be winter everywhere in Minecraft land at the exact same time. Ends a day before your birthday. I mean, I'm wholesale not including a lot of people's birthdays, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, Dusty. But okay, let's see if I fix the transparency issue. Here's hoping. Perfect. Okay. There we are. Sebastian's got little booties. Did I put that little line on the right side? That's my next question. It's a little hard to tell, actually. But booties, yeah. I like the little red booties. I think that looks good. Okay. Let's give Sebastian his AI back and see how that looks when moving. Hello. Fox galoshes, yeah. You can see inside of them, which is not great, but you can strictly speaking do that with, at least I think you can do that with, oh yeah, that's another part related to how bugged out that is, but it works well enough. I think you do that with, like, player boots as well. Am I right? Apparently not. Okay, well, maybe there's a function I can do for that later. Sebastian, come back here. Sebastian, come on. Oh, what a proper gentleman. What a fancy lad. Okay. That is really cute. Needs proper texturing, but really cute. Look at that. The little, like, the tail on the scarf does not look quite so right whenever he's sat like that. Maybe I can rotate that a bit. But that is really cute. If I wanted to rotate that, I would need to make it a separate model renderer. Okay, pause where you are, please, thank you. And then just check if they're sitting and change the rotation of it. Which is not that difficult. But okay. So, proper textures, multiply the number of textures, and then from there, we do exactly what the Cobalt renderer does, which is that we just have a switch here, and we just generate a random number generator to determine what particular like outfits of materials there should be. Theoretically, if we wanted to, we could break this into multiple layer renderers, so scarf, boots, hat, and have all of those have random colors on them, but I think having it be like specific outfits will just be more cohesive, at least. But if you made a mod that's just this, it would be popular, the Festive Foxes mod. I mean, you're not wrong, probably. It's the unfortunate thing. The question is, would it be more or less popular than Various Oddities itself? Okay, so I fixed the I fixed the transparency by changing what kind of render type we were getting. Let's go to entity armor, handheld, nope, armor layer. There we are. What type of render type is this? Just seems to find a model. There's the color, if it's dyeable. which barely ever happens. Armor cutout, no cull, apparently. So let's just see real quick if that fixes the interior of the booties. Today you learned there's an audience for every mod, no matter how specific. Dusty, I don't know that you know what mod Dave is referring to. But, Apologies, Sweden. Lying takes 10 psychic damage. Oh no, I don't know what's worse, the fact that there was a mod for it, or the fact that I knew about that fetish before I even knew there was a mod for it. I knew it long ago. That should have been like an episode of CSI. Way back when. Okay, that does appear to have resolved the booties, so we're not just seeing one side of them, we actually now fully see their legs in them. That's good. Okay. So let's now try to draw a random number to determine which elements of this should be visible. Now, because our accessories are bound to the body parts, the main body parts.
Sebastian is adorable. Thank you, he will now live in my head rent-free just like the witch does with so many of us. 3.
Thank you very much for that, Zeno. I am now half the way to paying for my meds. That's extremely appreciated. They're not cheap, unfortunately. They used to be cheaper, and then January 1st happened. So, yeah. Okay. Rand equals entity in. Do we get access to the unique ID? Yes, we do. Let's go for the least significant bits. We will use that as the seed. Which, if you didn't know, most times it's not a true random, it's just a really long list of integers, and they just cycle through that. That's all it is, really. Okay. So, we want to have our array of parts that we are actually going to be switching through. And we've got all 4 legs, the body, and the head. We need to make sure at least one of them is visible, or else we have a fox that doesn't have any accessories. So, to that end, let's see. Let's get ourselves an integer value here. In theory, we could... I was about to say, we could possibly tidy this up. If we only have 3 different values, we can just check a bit. Except that I suck at bit shifting because no one ever taught me it. But I have used it elsewhere. In the drafting table. Because the drafting table has a bit mask. So there we are. Okay. So let's see. Int outfit, I guess, equals rand.next int 3. Or would that be 4? 1 plus? I feel like that might be cheating things a little bit. But we can spawn a bunch of Sebastians and find out. Let's see, 3 will be 0, 1, and 2. So, if our top value is 3, then...
I see a matching opportunity.
Dave? Sorry, I'm slightly stunned because this means I can actually get my medication. Which is not a sensation that English people are accustomed to having to worry about. Thank you very much. So Dave, you've done a lot for me this past year. So thank you very much. Okay. what is... There's a value in here for hidden or visible, but it's changed its name, and I believe it's polarity. Show model. There we go. And we are looking for that, basically. So in this case, we just want to use the outfit. And our bit in this case is 1. I believe this goes up in 2s. Like it's 1, 2, 4, 8. Ooh, there's a... I may have to make a, I may have to make an entire, Excel sheet just to map that logic. So let's see. We know we don't have a 0 value, so that's something. Or we shouldn't. So 1, 2, 4, 8. So, hat, scarf, boots. Which means our highest value is in fact 7. I think. If it's 0, then we don't have any part of it. So I think that's good to go. One way to find out, I guess. We just spawn, ostensibly, like 7 or 8 foxes, and if we find one that doesn't have any outfit on, then we know that the logic is faulty. But this, combined with using multiple textures, should give us some pretty diversely accessorized foxes during the winter period. In regards to meds, I am actually having a blood test this coming Monday about it, which is going to be fun because they have ticked so many. Okay, there's definitely a problem here. Sebastian, where's the rest of your booties, Sebastian? Sebastian. Ah, I see. He has 1 booty, yes. Where are the other 3 booties, Sebastian? We've already checked, by the by, that this scales perfectly with when there are baby foxes, so imagine coming across, like, an actual family which do spawn. Like, I've encountered that, of foxes, all of them in, like, their little booties and their scarves and such. He did the pet thing of kicking the rest off. Like when you put a dog in like a dog coat and they just like flap onto their back and just don't move. Okay. So Sebastian is now only wearing a scarf. So we want another fox. It should be, yep, there we go. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so do we see any foxes not wearing any accoutrement at all? Certainly any foxes with all three is relatively rare. It's like a 1 in 8 chance for that. But everybody has something. Yep. Looks like having both the brain gone dead. Having both the scarf and booties is a fairly popular combination. But yeah, I think that's good. Hurrah! So the next thing is different textures. We'll keep those foxes around for the time being. Now my standard is to have red, green, and blue variations, so let's just go with red, green, and blue. We should have an entity here. Surely. Yes, fox entity. There you are. Let's call that one texture red since it's predominantly red. Okay, once again, generate ourselves a RNG. And we will use the most bits rather than the least significant bits this time around. Okay, those don't exist, but it's a start. Refactor and rename that. And duplicate. Okay, so there's currently no distinction between these whatsoever. And I think this is actually a problem, so let's slightly recolor this. Okay, this is 2, so 2 is our blue. So let's change the hue. If I can find the dang thing, there you are. Just wanna make that darker. Real quick. And 0 is our red. Here you are. One. That one. think I do want to brighten that up, because it looks a bit muddy, which, it's a fox, so I shouldn't be dreadfully surprised there, but let's try brightness contrast. I'm really, really phoning in this texture right now, but that's fine. Okay. So that is Fox Accessories 2, which is the blue. Now the other one will be identical right now, but, well, almost identical. Once I export this, we should at least get it to look a little different. Okay. That should be enough for us to start seeing color variation. Imagine the foxes in their little outfits marching with kobolds in their pride parades. Unfortunately, Pride is in June. So, opposite end of the social calendar, I'm afraid. Plus, I feel like if I made it so that, like, the foxes, if they're not already holding an item, are holding a pride flag during June, then somebody would probably hack me with malware or something. I already know that, 4chan utterly hates the pride stuff. Which gives me energy, but still. I'm not seeing any color variation. Okay. Don't do that. Oh, because I'm an idiot, that's why. I didn't actually change the reference. Is that gonna update live, do we think? Nope. Now, reminder, this is tied to their unique ID, their UUID. Therefore, every year, the foxes will have the same outfits and the same selection of accessories. So a fox that wears red boots one Christmas will wear red boots the next Christmas. There we go. Okay. Don't see anybody in a blue hat with the full blue outfit, but yeah, there we go. Looking cozy, looking comfy. These are, strictly speaking, still as ads, I think, but it's fine enough, I think. I think that's okay. I think if, like, Christmas presents are what chests become, I think it's possibly okay. But okay, next thing. Green. So, this is the green one. So let's see what I can do for it. First thing I can do is update the boots. Yeah, no, give me that, thank you very much. Let me grab the hat as well. That'll make this a bit easier. Yeah. again, if we wanted to, I think Neff suggested, like, gave it as an idea earlier, what we could do is just have essentially a black and white texture for the most part, and then just use the UUID to generate a random hue to color the whole thing. In which case, pretty much every fox you ever encounter will have a unique color. Which is an option, but it feels like massive overkill. Fortunately, white and grey stay the same color when you do that. Okay, let's see how it blows. And let me take this off my to-do list. I'm hoping to have all of this done by end of the week, so I can get ready for a new edition of my patron mod pack and server. I don't know if everything on this list will be in there. I might not have faction rep and creature types, but I will be able to have pretty much everything else, I think. Including, yes, these foxes. So, my patrons will probably be among the very first people to get to play with these adorable foxes. There we go. Nice. Okay. Someone got the green boots and or hats. There we are. Yeah. Oh, you've got the full ensemble. Nice. So, okay. There we go. RGB Winter Foxes. Beautiful. A reminder, this turns off on the 21st of March, so if you get this version, with the very first version of 1.16 Various Oddities, you will have this until then. Very, very intensely adorable. I think the hats have turned out well. They could maybe do being a bit brighter still. They still look a bit grey to me. But yay! Let me just do a quick test. Good, they don't accidentally glow in the dark. There was another kobold around, wasn't there? I just didn't recall there being a kobold around, but they might have wandered into the waste at some point. But okay. So there we go, everybody. Accidentally glow in the dark. Look, I'm not a graphics programmer, believe it or not. I'm aware this stream might give you the implication otherwise, but I am not a graphics programmer. Can I humbly request to see both a baby fox and an Arctic fox? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, who's a good candidate for this? How about you? So, there is Babby, whose scarf is barely visible. And is an Arctic fox. It's not its own spawn egg, which means it's probably its own. It's just probably just a data value. So let's see, data get entity. That's. Guessing there's a type in here. Yep, type. White? Arctic? I don't know. Nope. Nope. What is it? Let's find out. Snow. Okay, I was close at least. There we go. And is there a value in here that makes them be sitting? Sitting. There we go. There we go. There's a bit of Z fighting on their that, but that is just a matter of removing half of this, basically. Where's the one that we set the age on? There you go. Annoyingly, because of the way that they've changed how data works, I can't really modify everyone here. Let's see, append insert set. Set? No. What is your complaint here? There we go. Yeah. Provided selector allows more than one position, but only one entity is allowed. Annoying. Is there a way that I can make this select? What is here? Oh, no. Oh, merge. Right, of course. Set. There. What do you mean incorrect now? Oh, modify. There. This is me literally just trying to figure this out. NBT? Question mark? There, okay. Huzzah, I figured it out! Steadily but surely. There we go. Ah. That was dumb, but we got it working. Okay. So here's all of our foxes. Sitting in their booties and such. I do feel like I can fix the... Hang on. I do feel like I can fix this part. It just requires altering the rotation point, figuring out where the new rotation point would therefore be, and then going from there, pretty much. But other than that, it's pretty nice. Like how one's not facing the same direction. That would be Sebastian. So remove the back part of that, and then that will fix all of the Z fighting we're seeing there. So there. And then fix up that rotation issue. And this will be perfect and good to go, I think. Does the hat clip into the head occasionally? It is pre-clipped into the head, in fact. Like, that's perfectly... That was intentional. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Nice. I got their hat in their eye. Oh, what? Where? I don't see that happening. There we go. I'm just going to take this as a screenshot to post on Twitter. What's a good look here? About there, I think. That should do. Happened earlier, they went down a few pixels. It is exactly the same orientation, so I don't know. Oh, we lost our child. The child got grown. Or presumably the child just grew up, which is also a possibility. There you go. There. Yeah, the child there may have just actually grown up. Oh, look at the little booties down there. Oh, so close together. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And say blue steel. Yeah. Okay. Am I allowed to at you to show you what I saw? Ideally, yes. Bug fixing helps. Even if this is only present for like 4 months of a year. A third of the year. That is interesting. But I don't see how to replicate it. That might have just been interaction with the rendering? I'm not sure. Nope, that's not even like in the correct position relative to that specific fox, so I don't know. I don't know why that's happening. Definitely very funk. No. But okay, that is all I got for you tonight. Decided to have a nice chill little bit of aesthetic work because everything else on this list is heady, and a lot of it is trial and error because a lot of stuff changed between 1.12 and 1.16, so consequently I am looking at a lot of like, here's how you make your first block tutorials and the like. And it sucks tremendously going from here's a procedural volumetric analysis algorithm that will take an interior space and convert it into a useful structure to and here's how you create your first item. It's but I'm getting there. I'm getting through my list, and that's good. And now we have something a little more cutesy to add to the set. So yay. Other than that, my next stream will be on Thursday at 9 PM BST. We have some more Among Us. I'll try and come up with a mini game, but I don't think it'll be something like the free word game. So look out for that. Then on Saturday, of course, we have the carousel at the same time, where we play a random game from the wheel and talk about what went on in the week. And I'll be back for more Various Oddities and as such on Tuesday at 9 PM BST. Fingers crossed that by then I've at least gotten version 1 of Various Oddities 1.16. We'll see. But other than that, I do make videos over youtube.com/remembercomic. There was one out yesterday talking about Spoon Fairy and how it deeply affects everything I do, especially after 2020. And I just finished rendering one, so the patrons will get to see that first, and you can become a patron and support me and everything that I do and help bring down the impact of my meds every month over at patreon.com/lying for as little as $1 a month. That's all I got. Hope you've all enjoyed, and I will as ever catch you all next time. It's you.